Let's look at how OnLink connects to Google Workspace, and users can be created, groups can be added to them, or users can be deactivated as well. So first go to OnLink app from the Explore Your Apps menu, and you will see OnLink appear on the left side. Here, click on Add a New System to add Workspace as one of your target systems. Follow the documentation to create a service account that allows the integration to run APIs against your Workspace instance. You'll put the private key here and a couple of additional pieces of information. This will allow the connectivity to the API to happen. You can also limit which projects and users are allowed to interact with the Workspace API. Click on Next. This will establish the connection, and it will also give you an option to select which workspace groups you want to allow your users to be able to add using OnLink. This is a way in which you can limit the groups available. So here I'm just going to limit the demo group. Click on Done. So this is the first part of the setup where you are establishing connection. The second part of the setup before you can see or use OnLink and Workspace integration is on your post function. So on any of your issue workflows, add a couple of post functions. So I'm choosing this particular workflow, and I've added a couple of post functions here. One is the create user. Let me edit it. Again, you can select Workspace as the system and create user as your function. It'll list a few fields that you need to add as input. So first name, last name, email address that needs to be created, a password, I'll come back to this, and a personal email address where the temporary password can be sent. The temporary password, you can set it to something like this, where you have a dynamic prefix which OnLink automatically creates, and then you can choose to add an additional suffix that meets your password requirements. So once you do that, click on Update. This step, this particular post function creates the user in Workspace. However, you can also add one more step, which is to send the email to the new hire's personal email address. And for that, you can use OnLink's email service. So click on email and you'll be presented with a few options. Once you add your subject and the recipient email address, you can configure the body of the email with the same password smart value. This will ensure that the dynamic prefix works and it's dynamic in nature. That way, every user gets a unique password, and once they log in, they will be forced to change their password. So those are the two things that users need to do as far as the setup. In this video, we'll show you how the Workspace integration can be used from a Jira issue or request type. Here I have the request type with the new hire email. This is the email that the new user will be created with in Workspace. Email address is the personal email address. This is the email to which the temporary password will be sent. We have the first name and last name, and in the Workspace groups, we can have the list of groups that this user needs to be added to. If you recall, we had the post function setup. This was part of the previous video that we have recorded. And in this workflow, we have a couple of post functions. The first one is to create a user in Workspace. We have the password with the dynamic prefix set. And then the email functionality, again from OnLink, to be able to send that initial email with the temporary password. If you recall, this post function was set up on the initial transition of waiting for approval. So let me go ahead and move that. And before I do that, let's make sure that Terence Adam is not there as a user in the current system. So this is my workspace admin console and I don't see Terence here. Now, when I transition this request, I should see the new user get added as well as the email being sent. So first let's check if the new user was added. It takes a couple of seconds. We have the email address now created and obviously Terence hasn't signed in yet. Let's now look at Terence's personal email account and you'll see that the email just came in. The email has the temporary password.